Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe True and Love, here with their AEW Dynamite review for November. Now in the month of November, November 3rd, 2021. Heck of a show tonight. Obviously, plans change, and I found out last night. And so, already I'll go into the news first. But so Jon Moxley, one of the former AEW World Champion, one of the greatest stars in pro wrestling, and one of the biggest stars in AEW right now, it was announced by Tony Khan that Jon Moxley would be entering a inpatient rehab program, uh, and you know, thoughts are out and support are out to Jon Moxley and Renee, his wife, and his family. Um, that you know he was in the tournament, the world title in there, and was scheduled tonight to face Orange Cassidy in the semifinals. Winner would face Bryan Danielson in the finals to determine number one contender for the winner of Hangman versus Omega. And, you know, just because the past few times you looked at Jon Moxley, and now I don't want to pinpoint anything or say this was when this figure, but he kind of had the feeling he kind of had different tendencies, and I thought that was just Jon Moxley being Jon Moxley. And so glad that he's getting the help he needs, and that, obviously he's going to be away for a while, but good for him to get the help he needs for him to recharge and to come back both mentally and physically. Um, and at the right time. But this certainly changed plans for tonight, and I would say going forward, because the consensus in the pro wrestling community was that it was going to be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, half full gear, and this would be the turning point of a heel turn for Jon Moxley. Well, now with Moxley going away for a while, we got a good substitute. We got a good backup plan in that we got in the main event Miro versus Orange Cassidy. And this is just good planning and good booking by AEW, in the sense that Miro has been booked so good the last few months, even in defeat, losing as TNT champion, he has built himself up such to an extent which good to see. And then he was slotted into the main event tonight against Orange Cassidy, and he didn't mind it at all because he earned it. He got the momentum. He got the wins. You know, wins matter, and it made for a good backup plan. And but besides that, it was a heck of a show, or including that. So I'll get into review now. But thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and if you want to see more, click that subscribe to see more videos, uh, sports overview topics, and that like button if you like this video as well. The show started off, AEW did. Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, versus number 5 of the Dark Order, Alan Angels. Now, they brought it up on commentary how back in the Daily's Place era of AEW, it was Alan Angels versus Kenny Omega, and it was kind of Alan Angels' big break first in AEW. And tie that into now, how both have grown. Obviously, Omega has grown much more than he did then, but Alan Angels, to the figure he is in the Dark Order, you know, he's not a big name, but he can obviously hang, and he's a good wrestler. It's just in the spin of where the Dark Order is at the moment is different for his scenery. But still, this was a very good match. So, getting into the match, it was first Omega went for a V-trigger, but countered by Angels into a roll-up for near fall. This is where the momentum picked up for Angels. He hit the Suicida on the outside and then was thrown back in the ring, but he countered with a rebound kick, followed with a second rope moonsault on Omega on the outside. Back in the ring, he hit a diving crossbody for near fall. He went for a frog splash, but Omega got the knees up. He hit a buckle bomb, followed with a sky high for a 2 count. He had a big V trigger for a near fall after an exchange, and then hit 2 more V triggers on Angels for the win. Afterwards, Omega went for a one-winged angel on Angels on the chair that was tossed in by Nakazawa. But Hangman came out running for the save. He almost hit the buckshot lariat, and yeah, Omega flurried off. So then Malachi Black, he cut a nice little promo in the back on Cody Rhodes, saying that barring him from ringside won't really help. And he talked about Julius Caesar, saying that it was not just Marcus who killed him as he drifted off in the dark. So again, love these promos by Black. So then we got CM Punk. He came out to the ring. First, he addressed the Jon Moxley situation, saying that he wants people to cheer his name because that's who it's about. And we saw a bunch of Jon Moxley signs and stuff in the crowd, and big Moxley chants says that, if you're in trouble or if you need help, ask for it. Don't be ashamed. And then he rung up Eddie Kingston, saying that Kingston's not here tonight, otherwise he'd fight him. Doesn't take too kind to people interrupting him. And he said he'll be in St. Louis on Friday for Rampage, and that they'll be face to face to accept an apology from Kingston. Highly doubt we get that apology, but it's going to be a nice more build. Even though it's short, it's going to be good build towards a match at Full Gear week from Saturday. So we got confirmation that will be Orange Cassidy versus Miro in the finals, or semifinals, excuse me, at the end of the show. Then we got a nice little promo. Miro talking about Orange Cassidy, saying that he's been playing with them, saying that it's perhaps a present from God. And simple, the Redeemer, good slot to be in. So we got the Super Click that were backstage, and a returning Christian Cage. Christian Cage, who, not sure, who last we saw for our pro wrestling fans was at Bound for Glory, as he defended and lost his Impact World Championship versus Josh Alexander, who lost it to Moose in weird fashion, but it is what it is. So, then also confronted by a returning Luchasaurus. So, they brawled into the stage area, and just when it looked like they got the advantage or the numbers game, Jungle Boy out of nowhere dives on the outside, and big brawl ensues between all of them, which the exclamation point came with a conchero from Christian Cage to Adam Cole. Big. So, and a good sign of welcome back chants for all of them. Good to see all of them back on Dynamite. So then we got Samiray Del Sol, aka Kalisto, formerly of WWE, and Aerostar versus FTR in a open challenge for the AAA Mega Tag Team Championships. Fine match. There was a spot where they were doing roll-ups by Del Sol and Aerostar in the middle of the ring. Very nice near fall. Del Sol hit a assisted slice spread using the ropes, fall with a splash by Aerostar from their fall. Finally, the finish came when there is an exchange of roll-ups between Aerostar and, well, Del Sol was taken out with a brainbuster on the outside by Dax. And it was a roll-up by Cash Wheeler on Aerostar using the tights and the ropes for the win. They retain, and it was also announced that it's official for Full Gear. FTR versus the Lucha Brothers for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Should be a fun one again. Looking forward to it. So then we got a fun segment between the Inner Circle and American Top Team plus Men of the Year. So the Inner Circle was out there to pick their opponents because Sammy Guevara beat Ethan Page last week. So there was out there, and they chose, after joking around, this and that, they announced it will be versus Men of the Year, Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, and you kind of had a feeling it was going there, Dan Lambert. So at Full Gear, in a Minneapolis street fight, it'll be the Inner Circle versus Men of the Year, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, and Dan Lambert. I tell you, I don't think if the crowd tonight was chewing up Dan Lambert, I definitely don't think the Minneapolis crowd in Minnesota is going to take too kindly to Dan Lambert. So we got another quarterfinals matchup in the TBS Women's Title Tournament. Andrade versus Jamie Hayter. Decent match. Unfortunately, I missed most of it due to a Amber Alert. So I figure it wasn't a very long match. So I didn't try to look back for it, but I did see the finish, thankfully. So Jay locked in the Queen Slayer and sleeper hold, and Hayter file was a interference by Britt Baker, who was on the outside along with Rebel. Hayter hit a lariat on Jay for the win. Afterwards, Ty Conti and Thunder Rosa, they came out for the save. So not only will it be Ty Conti versus Britt Baker for the women's title at Full Gear, but next round of the tournament will be Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa. Should be a heck of a matchup. So then we got MJF, the world's favorite heel, or at least the biggest heel probably in pro wrestling, arguably. So they showed Darby Allin in the crowd. So MJF was out there and he talked about the pillars of AEW, he mentioned with Darby, with Sammy, Guevara, and Jungle Boy. So he tried to praise Darby, saying that they've separated themselves from the other two, saying they have it. But he doesn't get why they boo him and they cheer Darby. And he said that's because when they look at MJF, they see their boss, their ex, etc. Someone that they can't aspire to be. But they look at Darby, and Darby reminds themselves of them, saying that when the bell rings, he's crashed his stomach, that can't hang with MJF in the ring, and he will beat Darby Allin at Full Gear because Darby's weak-minded. So Darby in the crowd said he will not beat MJF, but they will have a wrestling match at Full Gear because he's going to kick his ass tonight. So, of course, MJF was egging them on, and then eventually left, but the exit was thwarted because Sting and the Sting followers, people with different masks on, were blocking or intercepting the exit of MJF, and then a brawl ensued on the stage with Wardlow, Sean Spears, and some of these followers of Sting. So then MJF was like, screw that. So he leapt in the crowd and went firing at Darby, and they brawled into the crowd, came back to the ring. Darby almost hit a coffin drop, but MJF smartly got out of the ring and hightailed it. That'll be a good match at Full Gear. Although, interested to see how their styles match up, considering they're so different when it comes to in the ring. We'll see. So then we got Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo. So, fun match. I was curious with the news of Moxley and Miro. Was this going to be the main event? I know they had the graphic, but still, this was not, but still a good match between the two. So, Cody hit a big lariat out of the corner, turned Andrade inside out. Andrade followed up with 3 amigos, then hit the third one on the Cody in the turnbuckle. Excuse me. The finish actually came FTR. They were underneath the ring with their AAA Mega Champ Tag Team titles. And Cody was on the outside, and they blasted Cody in the face with these championships. And Cody was out, so Andrade rolled him back in the ring, hit the Hammerlock DDT for the win. Andrade gets the win over Cody Rhodes. Granted, yes, it wasn't clean, but glad at least Andrade is getting a win. And after that big match against Pac on Rampage, interested to see more and more, hopefully more consistently, Andrade in ring week to week. So a good match. Afterwards, there was a brawl between the Lucha Brothers. They came out for a save with FTR. Simple, more hype for their match at Full Gear. So then the main event came, but before we had Bryan Danielson on commentary. Because, of course, he's now in the finals for Full Gear. Going to face the winner of Miro vs Orange Cassidy. So, now the main event. So, this started out as a cat and mouse game, pretty much where Orange Cassidy tried to frustrate Miro, kept dodging him in and out, rolling out dodge. But eventually, Orange Cassidy went for a suicida, and he was caught by Miro with a belly to belly on the outside. Now, they also showed that Miro's thigh, his right thigh, maybe his hammy, maybe his quad, not sure, but his upper leg and Orange Cassidy's ribs were both taped. So both came in a little weakened. But then they got back from break. It was a beatdown by Miro in the corner, stopping a mud hole in them. Orange Cassidy fired back with some offense, hit the windmill DT for a near fall. And then they were on the outside. Miro was near the timekeeper's table on the outside. Orange Cassidy was to the top rope, hit a diving splash on Miro on the outside, sending Miro through the timekeeper's table. And Miro almost did not get back in the ring in time. It's almost a count-out victory for Orange Cassidy. But Miro got in at 9. Beach break by Orange for a near fall. But eventually, Miro hit his big Machka kick, followed with the game over. Orange Cassidy tapped out. And Miro advances the Redeemer to Full Gear to face Bryan Danielson. After the match, Bryan came down to the ring and had a stare off with Miro. Offered to shake his hand, but Miro did not oblige. And that was how Dynamite went off the air. Of course, we expected Moxley versus Bryan, but we're getting Miro versus Bryan, which should be a very fun match as well at Full Gear. Now, hope Moxley gets gets better than ever. Well, with that side now, looking the Full Gear, still should be interesting. Miro versus Bryan. And Friday for Rampage, interesting stuff. We got a tag team match, I believe, between Lee Moriarty and Matt Sydal versus Leo Rush. I'm not sure if it is Friday or next, but I'm sure we'll get it between them against Leo Rush and Dante Martin. We're also getting the last first round matchup of the TBS Titles tournament between the Bunny versus Red Velvet. So interesting. I think we know that's going to be Red Velvet versus Jay Cargill next round in the tournament. And then we also got CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston face to face. So, as well as John Silvers versus Adam Cole, which John Silvers had a heck of a promo as well before the main event. Poked fun at how WWE wanted to book Adam Cole on the main roster, and just funny. But nonetheless, that's the episode, and that's for you guys. Still a fun show, despite the change-ups, but still looking forward a heck of Full Gear on the 13th in Minnesota. But hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I did too. I'll be back Saturday with my Rampage review. But thank you all. Hope you're being safe and peace.